Hello and welcome to Stories That Shape Us. My name is Joanna Daniel. Thank you for joining me on Stories That Shape Us. And thank you for joining me in this week as I'm talking about abuse and domestic abuse, especially in the Christian community, and just raising awareness and some of the things to look out for. So today I'm talking about things that you can say to an abuse victim, things that you can say to somebody as they disclose. Over the last couple of days, I've talked about sometimes some of the things that you shouldn't say, some of the questions to ask when somebody discloses abuse. And so today I'm talking about some of the things that you can say. So one of the things you can say is thank you for sharing when somebody shares their experience. Now, you're not going to say thank you for sharing and leave it there and walk away and not say anything else. And thank you for sharing is a really nice way to kind of go into further conversation, not to ask questions like why didn't you leave and all of that, but just thank you for sharing. That must have been really difficult to share. I appreciate that you trust me to share this with me. How can I help you? So the thank you for sharing is a way to say I acknowledge that that must have been difficult. I acknowledge that that's hard. I acknowledge that your story is that your experiences have been so traumatic, and I acknowledge that you have shared it with me, and I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing. So number two, it's not your fault. Now, sometimes, now this is not like you're not going to have this list and you're going to go number one, two, three when you're having a conversation with somebody. So it's not your fault. It's sometimes really important to say, especially because by the time a victim shares with you, they would have been in this situation for many years, many years, some of them up to 20, we're learning. So it's not your fault is a really good thing to say to somebody when they've shared. Thank you for sharing. I just want you to know it's not your fault. It wasn't your fault that your partner is narcissistic and decide to manipulate and control you. It's not your fault that you've been gaslighted your whole life, or the whole course of this relationship. It's not your fault. It's not your fault that you respond and react. It's not your fault. The abuse wasn't your fault. It's important because sometimes the perpetrator will blame the victim. It's because you stay out late. It's because you went out with friends. It's because you're always talking to this person too much. It's because you talk to people on the phone. It's because you answer text messages when I'm talking to you. It's because you took too long at the supermarket. It's because you packed the cupboard wrong. It's because you talk to your friends too much. It's because your family members are always calling you. It's just a wide range of stuff. It's because you breathe sometimes. It's just a range of things that they'll think of and that they'll blame on the victim. And oftentimes the victim will take this and believe it because you've been hearing it so long. It's very difficult for you to not believe it. And because the brain holds on to this information, it's integrated and it impacts self-esteem. So really telling somebody it's not your fault, it's a good thing to say. Number three, you didn't deserve this. Nothing that you do made you deserve abuse. You did not deserve it. It's not your fault. You didn't deserve it. It shouldn't have happened. It's not. So really good. Also, sometimes maybe I say saying nothing because sometimes as somebody share their story, sitting in silence is a really good place to be. Not the silence where you hear it and you walk away and not say anything, not the silence that is awkward or uncomfortable. It's the silence that made her know that I see you, or made them know that I see you, I'm digesting this information, and I am with you. Just that silence as you gather your thoughts, and you allow them to kind of gather themselves after they shared. So that kind of silence sometimes, and especially silence as you're listening, as they're sharing, that silence is really good. Not this, you're not looking away, you're maintaining eye contact that's appropriate. Your body language is saying I'm here with you, I'm present. You're just listening, you're making appropriate nonverbal responses to let the person know that you're hearing them. So you're making appropriate eye contact, so you're not staring them down, you're looking away sometimes. And remember, the eyes are the window to the soul. So if you're thinking any thoughts that you have might show on your face. So it's important that when you're silent, you're not just silent, not speaking, but you're silencing anything else that's going on in your body and in your thoughts as you tune in to what the person is saying and you're listening with all of you. So that kind of silence, because it's a very calm in silence, that one, when somebody's sharing something traumatic and they know that you are with them in that moment, it really is it really helps to ground so that they can continue sharing. That means they're trusting you with this information. It means that they've got a level of respect and trust for you, that they're sharing this information with you. Don't take that lightly. It's really important. Also, as I said, remain present as they share their stories. So the last one I'd like to share, which is okay to say, is this might take some time, but you will overcome it. So you're having hope for this person, because sometimes by the time they get to the place where they're sharing, hope is short supply. So you're letting them know that you're not giving false promise, because you can't make promises around how long healing will take, but you're saying it's not your fault. It shouldn't have happened. I'm here with you and I'm here for you in the ways that you need me. This might take some time, but you will overcome it. You can get through this. So that's a reassuring message that you're going to give. You can get through this. And at this point, you might provide some support or offer to help to find support that is relevant. You might not know all the support that is available if you're a leader in church or the community and somebody's disclosing to you. You might not know all the support that is available. I work in this area. I work in this area. I work in this area all the time, and I don't know all the support that is available for communities. However, when it comes on to support, make sure you only offer support that you can provide. Don't make promises that you can't keep, because it's really important, especially at this stage, regardless of what they've decided to do after they've disclosed. It's really important that you don't make promises that you can keep. And on support, one of the things I wanted to mention was that even I've been working in this area for a long time, but I don't know all the resources that are available, all the support that is available. So I'm always gathering information about services and new services that I can refer people to or recommend for people to be referred to. So you might not have all the information, you might not have all the answers. Nobody does. But as long as if you are promising to walk alongside somebody, if you are willing to stick to your promise. So don't overpromise, just offer what you can do. And I know that anybody who comes to you will appreciate whatever it is that you offer. So just offer what you can, and that will be appreciated. Thank you for joining me in this episode of Stories That Shape Us. I hope you'll join me on the next story.